what is going on in my own state, because like a Muslim community and Buddhist community, they were friends. Because I visited to my hometown when I was young, like my grandparents, they live in the Rakhine State. So my memory was they were friends. And then suddenly this Rohingya conflict happened and they were not talking anymore. Like many Rohingya, they had to flee to Bangladesh. They were forced to leave from the country. So I was very curious about that. And then I also hear that there are like a Rohingya, like around 60,000 Rohingya still living together with Buddhist community. So they are stay coexistent. And I really wanted to find out how they live together. So that was kind of my idea. And then like I have a kind of like script in my mind that I wanted to make about women in that region. It should be one Buddhist and one Muslim, and midwife. It should be midwife. That was only my idea. I didn't know about Nuno and Lat, so it was just my idea in my mind. And then I went to Rakhine State and I was searching for midwives, and then we met like different midwives. After 2 days, I met La and Nuno together in the same village and working in the clinic. And when I start talking, after 15 minutes, I have a feeling that they are my character, and I will start my feature length in the clinic. That's how I started.
Yeah, I was very lucky because I'm half Burmese, and I've always liked to go back, and I was offered the position of leading the year-long beginners course, and Snow was assigned as my the co-director teacher, the local teacher for directors. And what was kind of funny is I had already been to that area of Myanmar, Rakhine State, a few years before with my family. And I was like, I want to come back here and make a film one day. So on this trip that I went to go teach, I was like, maybe I'll be able to take some time and go make a film in Rakhine State about the Rohingya crisis. And the first day I met Snow in teaching, she told me about her film, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much better than I could have imagined. So I just said, okay, so like, how can I help? And then we just watched footage together, and it was a really nice beginning.
When I want to do something, I imagine a lot. And then I imagine and I capture in my mind, like I make a story in my mind, like imagination story. And then also I manifested for the character that I like. So somehow it's appear. I try to make, very good friendship between Nuno and Lat, because I need to start trust building between like two midwives, because we were not, because I was kind of stranger for them in the beginning. So yeah, it was quite a journey. And then there is conflict in that region, right? So a lot of, whenever I was there, I was really panicked, I was really anxiety and so much fear. But then somehow something, it will be some nothing happened to me, and just focus on my filmmaking. Because in the beginning I didn't bring anyone with me. Like they don't want anyone to make to come with a camera. They were looking at me and they were quite scared. Even though I shot with an iPhone, they thought I'm gonna send it to news, not TV news, and some video journalists. That's what they thought. So I was like, so I try not to use good camera. So mostly I show with small camera and an iPhone for 2 years. Because when I started, and in front of La Clinic was police, kind of like police control area. Because in front of La Clinic there is a school, high school, very busy school, because they take over all the school compound, and soldiers live in that compound. So I was always covered with a Muslim woman, like they have a shawl, right? So I cover whenever I pass them, like I try not to get attention from the soldier. So first 2 years was not easy for me. It was kind of scary. But then after 2 years, there was a civil war happened between Rakhine Army and Myanmar military. So somehow those soldiers who live in front of La Clinic, they disappear because they were shooting in the mountains. So they kind of step back. And then that time that after I met Miller, so I brought my cameraman, came along with me. So we were only two crews together.
This kind of film and working with foreign filmmakers who are kind of local to a place is almost like the mission of our company. We do some Canadian-based films, but we work a lot with filmmakers from around the world who have great stories, but maybe not infrastructure or support to make their films. So about half the films or something we do are this type of project. And it was very clear, like it's not easy to find funding for films in certain areas because they don't have any national supports. Like in Myanmar, there's no national support for, so, and there's no like, you know, treaty agreements between countries with some of these countries, like there is between all the European countries. They all work together, and it's a known way to do business. This is more like you have to be clever in terms of raising the money. You have to find a mix of private funders and TV, and there's no like incentives for it. So it's quite creative, a kind of like mosaic of funding to be able to make a film like this. But it should be said that when I started on the project with Snow, the footage was already very good. It wasn't like she just shot research. It was like, oh, there's characters, there's scenes, there's actual very good scenes. So that she had quite a bit of good footage. And it's exactly at that moment where it's much easier for me to come in then when I see footage that I can sort of play with and edit, and then I can use that to convince someone. Because just at the idea stage, I think it's, whether it's fair or not, you know, funders are just very reluctant to trust a new filmmaker, and probably a young woman in a very difficult place to shoot. Even we were pitching at Hot Docs. She had a very great demo, great thing. And people were still asking like, oh, well, how can you pull this off? You're just a young woman, and how are you gonna stay safe? We're like, have you seen the footage she's captured? Like, like, do you ask this same question of all those male filmmakers who go off into other countries and make films? They don't really ask that question because they just, that the macho filmmakers will be able to do this. Snow is sort of quietly able to make this in her own way. And I think that's what is the major achievement.
You know, I enjoy so much working with Mila in the editing room, because like I can really transfer my imagination and, you know, emotion part of that's what I have gone through, and I can deliver it easily to Mila, because Mila is also from, even though he is not living in my country, but he is from like Myanmar, root from Myanmar, and he understands what I feel. And you know, I really wanted to work with Mila. So now I've started developing another story, but I don't know yet, but it will be story from Myanmar. Hello, my name is Snow Ni Ilai from Myanmar. I'm the director of Midwife, which was premiere in Sundance last week, and we got a very good, you know, recognized by Sundance Film Festival. So please, if you have time, please have a look for Midwife film. If you really know what you really want, so please go ahead and don't give it, and please trust in your story and believe in yourself, and that will be something we're coming to you for, definitely.
My name is Mila Ong Thwin. I'm a producer, editor, filmmaker from Montreal, Canada. I've started a company called I Still Film. And I think my advice would be to learn the art of collaboration. I do love meeting really driven auteurs with a vision, but when you can really balance that sort of confidence, but with also being able to work with others, it's something I struggle with. And I think that was a lovely part of working with Snow, is that her ideas were quite strong, but she wasn't too forceful with them. So it was kind of like you had to unveil them, and they were hidden. So it wasn't always obvious. And that was like a fun part for me, is the art of collaboration.